Hercules packet and your green sheet that says Hercules on it. I know your books are so good, but let's put them away for now, okay? So Shimon, I need you to pull out your water bottle, okay? Your green sheet. Okay. There's a blue packet on top of that bookshelf that can be yours too. We got one here. Come on, Mason, let's go. Got it? Where's you got your stuff? Come on, let's go. Beautiful. Okay. So we defined demigod last time, right?
Yeah.
Okay, what's a demigod? Yeah. So.
The half human, half god.
Half human, half god. What are some other ways you can be a demigod?
Lesser god.
Someone promoted for heroic actions.
Promoted for heroic actions, and what was the last one?
Lesser god.
Lesser god. Good. So those are the three ways. And we didn't start the Hercules story, did we?
No.
All right. So this is going to be fun. So Disney lied to us. Okay. Yeah. They didn't want us to know that Hercules was actually the son of a bear. Okay. So the way that he receives his demigod status is different than what they say in the movies, where he's a baby, and then he gets stolen by Hades, and then that drink and the snake thing, that's lies. Okay. So we're going to read about one version of the myth of Hercules. The cool thing about myths is that originally, how were they told? Do we know? Just by people, right? By what? By people, and they didn't write it down. Okay, they were oral stories, meaning that they just spoke them to people. So they would tell them around spooky campfires or wherever, maybe I don't know, around volcanoes, whatever they did. Okay, and so they would tell these stories, and so they would get passed down. However, if one person would say the story and someone else would tell the same story, they kind of changed over time, and eventually we kind of get different versions.
Like telephone.
Of what?
Like telephone.
Oh yeah, kind of like telephone, okay? So we got kind of different versions going around. There are still official versions that somewhere along the way they got changed a little bit. So this is one version of the myth of Hercules. And we're going to start it together, and then I will have you guys partner it out. But what I want you to do as we're reading this is obviously I want you to be up on what is going on in the plot. So if you look at your green sheet, that first box says important plot details. So you're going to write reminders of yourself so you remember what you're reading. And then I want you to look at characteristics of Hercules. So you're going to be looking, okay, what kind of a person is Hercules? What does he look like? What does he smell like? If it's in there, okay, you can write that. And then the last one is a little bit trickier, but it's implied cultural values of Grecian culture and include evidence that supports your inferences. What is an inference?
An inference can be a guess, an educated guess.
Okay, an educated guess. Good. What is it your guess based on?
Well, facts. Like that things you have read in the story.
Okay, good. So, Shamar, did you hear that?
Yeah.
Okay, what did he say?
Like what people think.
Okay, and what is it based on?
A myth.
Okay.
Or something that they don't have facts on. I don't know.
Okay, not quite. So will you say that again, Donald?
Yes, I would love to.
Okay.
Okay. An inference is an educated guess, and how we get that educated guess is by things we have read inside the myth.
Okay.
Or facts.
Okay. No, well, you said that it wasn't based on information. Okay, so maybe I just misunderstood. So an inference is stuff based on the text that you are reading that isn't explicitly or overtly there. So it's not going to say, by the way, in Greek culture, they really valued hot dogs or whatever it is. Okay, they're gonna tell you things, and by reading that, you can infer or make guesses about what they were like. Okay? Questions on how we're going to do inferences? Did you have a, oh, you say this is big. It reads pretty fast though, because it's like an adventure story, okay? So I'll start reading, and I'm going to stop us so we can kind of see how this is done and how inferences are made. And then eventually I'll just have you guys partner read, because I think I'm losing my voice a little bit, okay? Good, so we're not going to read that first thing. That's just background. It just tells you where this is taken from versus where it's not taken from. So there's, again, like I said, 2 different versions. And we're going to read this one. So it says, the greatest hero of Greece was Hercules. He was a personage of quite another order from the great heroes of Athens, Theseus. He was what all Greece except Athens most admires. So, what do we know about Hercules so far?
That Athens doesn't do that.
Okay, that Athens doesn't really revere him, right, as much as this other guy, Theseus. So you could write that down under where on our sheet? Where would you write that? You could write it under important plot details. Maybe you just want to write that he's a hero, and you could write that under characteristics of Hercules. Write something to that effect, him being a hero, not being liked by Athens. Make sure your name is on this, by the way. You get no names all the time. It's chaos. Okay, do you guys know where Athens is?
Greece.
Greece, right? So it's like their capital. So this would be like DC really doesn't care for, I don't know, some like Louis Armstrong or whoever like our hero is. Okay, I don't like it. Whoever. G.I. Joe, they don't like it. Okay, so the capital doesn't like them. Theseus, of course, was the bravest of the brave, as all heroes are. But unlike other heroes, he was as compassionate as he was brave, and a man of great intellect as well as great bodily strength. It was natural that Athenians should have such a hero because they valued thought and ideas as no other part of the country did. Okay, what inferences can we make about Grecian culture from those 2 statements?
They value education.
Okay, they value education. What else? Sorry, say that one more time. Okay, they're divided, so you could say like there's a rift between Athens and the rest of Greece. That would be a good inference. What else? What do you think, Chloe? Give me one more. Look at those sentences we just read. Okay, so Hercules was strong, so that's a characteristic about him. But what do the Grecians value? So we said intellect. We said that there's a rift between Athens and Greece. What else can we infer from the sentences? Says Theseus was, of course, the bravest of the brave, as all heroes are. But unlike other heroes, he was compassionate as he was brave, and a man of great intellect as well as bodily strength. So what do they value? Courage, okay, so courage or strength, right? So that would be one. What's the last thing that it says they value? Okay, knowledge, right? Did you say intellect? Or did you say? Okay, knowledge. There's one more. So you got knowledge, we got strength. What's the last one? What do you think, Emily? Compassion! Good, okay. So we can infer based on this is someone that they revere. How do they think about these things? Do we revere people we don't care about? No, we revere people who are great, right? So if we revere this person, we value the qualities that they have. Okay? Good. So you're writing those down, and the things we've inferred on that last column. In Theseus, their ideal was embodied, but Hercules embodied what the rest of Greece most valued. His qualities were those the Greeks in general honored and admired. Except for unflinching courage, they were not those that distinguished Theseus. So what's the only thing that Hercules has going for him? Courage, right? So he doesn't have which other 2 things? Compassion and what else, Shamar? What else does he not have?
Courage.
Okay, he has courage, but what else? So he doesn't have compassion. Doesn't have what? Okay, look at, where's your packet? Pick it up, come on. Okay, look at that sentence where it talks about Theseus. So Theseus has three things. What does he have? Brave, compassionate, and great intellect. So if Hercules has courage, what is he missing?
What? I don't even see what you're talking about.
Okay, you gotta follow along. So if you look right here. You have to follow along here. Make sure you're reading the multiplication mark. Okay, so what is he missing? Smarts and compassion, right? Okay, so you could write that down under where? Characteristic of Hercules. So he's very brave. He's not the best thinker. And sometimes he's not very compassionate. Hercules was the strongest man on earth. Or do you want to write that? Characteristic, okay? And he had supreme self-confidence, magnificent physical strength gifts. He considered himself on an equality with the gods, and with some reason. How does he feel about himself?
Really good about it.
Yeah, he's got a good self-esteem there, right? Maybe a little too much, because anytime you think you're on the same level as the gods tend to get. So where would we write that?
Characteristics.
Characteristics of Hercules. So he's the strongest man on earth. Gotta read that a little bit. Okay. He considered himself on equality with the gods, and with some reason. They needed his help to conquer the giants. In the final victory of the Olympians over the brutish sons of Earth, Hercules' arrows played an important part. He treated the gods accordingly. Once, when the priestess at Delphi gave no response to the question he asked, he seized the tripod and sat on and declared that he would carry it off and have an oracle of his own. Apollo, of course, would not put up with this, but Hercules was perfectly willing to fight him, and Zeus had to intervene. The quarrel was easily settled, however. Hercules was quite good-natured about it. He did not want to quarrel with Apollo, but he only wanted an answer from the oracle. If Apollo would give it, the matter was settled as far as he was concerned. Apollo, on his side, facing this undaunted person, felt an admiration for his boldness and made his priestess deliver the response. So what just happened there?
He got in fight with Apollo.
Okay, you got in a fight with Apollo. Why did you get in a fight with Apollo, Ruben?
Because Apollo didn't like him.
Okay, he didn't like him being cocky. Sebastian, why did he consider himself on an equal level with the gods?
Because he was brave.
Okay, and what did he do for the gods? Look at your packet. Look in those first two sentences. What does he do? No, second, so that first paragraph down, you gotta be following along, Sebastian, okay? Says Hercules is the strongest man on earth. In there, what does he do for the gods? He was self-confident, and then why was he self-confident? Keep going. Okay, right after that, come on. With what? Yes, okay. You can say that, okay. So he helped them conquer the giants. So, he's a big deal, okay? He's helpful. Mason, wake up, okay? Okay? So do we see how this is done? Do we understand how to make inferences? Okay, so I want you, with someone next to you, so get with a partner, you're going to read this to each other, and you're going to continue, wait, before you move, you got to listen to my instructions, okay? You're going to, at least every page, stop and look at, okay, what did we do? Connor, why are you listening? Jason and Dayton, I know you're stoked to do this, but you gotta listen, okay? So you're gonna stop at least every page to make notes about the plot, about characteristics, and some inference about Grecian culture. Okay, how do we make inferences, Jake? How do I make inferences again?
Educated guess.
Educated guess based on what?
Evidence.
Evidence in where?
The reading.
Okay. So what are your instructions? Emily, what are our instructions?
Get with some people around us on the page and try to figure out what
Perfection. Okay. Any questions?
Okay.
All right. Go ahead, my minion.
You go out in the hall. You go out in the hall.
Okay, you want to talk?
What? Ruben. In the hallway.
Funner.
Funner is a word.
Actually, there are more fun.
Yes, funner
Bob
is
the
a word.
Oxford, or whatever.
It's a funner word.
They,
Funner.
everybody-
My mom.
So?
Funner,
say
one last fun.
it isn't right.
The emphasis of er.
Looks like.
Cheetah. Some? No.
This one.
Or
This one.
I see that. I read that.
I like the first
Yeah, our teacher read it.
I bet sure no.
This is the correct one.
All right, so we're gonna.
More.
Okay, so you guys are together.
Not your
And you guys have three?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, so why don't you sit there so you can talk to them? You can just move, let yourself stand.
That's so nice.
Or maybe you can all move, but I want you
Yeah,
guys to be
let's
able
move
to
over
see
there. Come on.
each other.
Let's do it, Sam.
Okay, so where's your packet? What's your packet? What did I ever do? You have to wait till like New Year's.
The question is what date you do.
You know what? I'm
Packet, reading. Make it happen. Okay.
Yeah, but
Melinda, we should stay over there. No. I'm guilty. We should just like stay over here, guys. We have a perfect plan. Kill somebody.
This was the first ever. This is where I sat on the first page.
This exact same.
No, you?
Yeah, it's right here, but then I moved back.
Yeah, no matter who was against it, we never. I remember. Melody. Whenever he was over there.
Seriously?
Yeah. Or no, it was that corner. Okay. So, people. Words. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Your first response is words.
Just gets like right here.
What was the only thing you could What was the only
Try to
that's what they value. Because they're heroes, those things, right? And we don't make people heroes who are late. We make them heroes if we value what they do, right? So that's how you can tell those. Like that. We value rich infants. Okay, so write that down. Okay. Are you writing things down as you go? Good.
The other time in the boat he was in, he was tossing about the waves he told the water. I think he's his intellect is not strong, he knows go for your rouse and have to get up. This power of deep feeling in man is tremendous strength.